Hello and welcome to my Path of Exile build guide. Today what I have for you is a pretty chill build, both figuratively and metaphorically speaking. We are basically going to be in demon form constantly because we are capping at 10 maximum stacks, which gives us extra freedom of not doing anything basically. The build is revolves around putting down frost walls and nuking them with flame blast. You can do it like this if you are feeling lazy, like me most of the time, or you can do it at range with the flame orb. When you encounter a rare mob, what you want to do is to freeze them and then basically you nuke them with this combo and they are pretty much dead. There are some mods that can survive this, but not for much longer than that. I will tell you that. Another main pros of this build is that it's very mobile due to the demon form. You can dash around like crazy. You can dodge everything, which gives it on top of it. It's already amazing survivability. It's another layer of that. So it's very hard to die in this build. Like you really need to be just like trying to get yourself killed. The There are two cons of this build that I can think of right now. One is mana sustain, because if you are bursting, basically with this build, you will be a lot of times constantly moving forward, just spamming this. You will run out of mana, and the second thing is that you are kind of reliant on the burst windows of freeze, because we have some things that work with when enemies are frozen. You are basically dealing more damage to them, so when the rare is not frozen you will be dealing a little bit less. However, it's not that big of an issue. Now let's begin with the gems of this build. Of course, we have demon form with second wind. This is to give yourself much needed quality of life when you encounter a lever in this game, because it pulls you out of demon form. This prevents that. For example, it also works in Trial of Sekima when you have those hourglasses. You can basically do this, pull the lever, go back in instantly. No need to wait for it to pop back up. As you can see, this build is very low cost. I need only, I mean, this wasn't even needed. Only free link, so it's pretty much you will get it during the campaign. All we need here is Icicle, Bell Cascade for more ice blocks, and Consider Casting. Before Consider Casting, I was using the concentrated effect, which decreases the area but increases the kill damage by 40%. Now, after the buff, Consider Casting is objectively better, because we don't really care about cast speed on Frostwall, but this 40% more damage with extra AoE. See, this is how big it is. So more frost blocks will be hitting the enemies, and that's the goal of this build. Second, we have Flame Blast, which is which has more cast speed. Of course, we want as much cast speed as possible on Flame Blast. We don't want to be standing around too long casting it, because we have the frost walls, but still some enemies can be like around us, so we want to just pop it as fast as possible, freeze everything around, nuke it to the ground. We have controlled distractions, because flame skills don't really care about critical hit unless you are going blood mage, which can increase it to 15%, but base for flame is 8%, so it's really bad to go crit on those. And we have rising tempest. This is basically for a very easy attainable power with no downsides, pretty much, because every time we pop a frost wall we get 12%, and then on the combo we go we get 36% on top of the mana tempest. We have also Solar Orb with persistence. That's so we can just cast it once and forget about it. The main goal of this build is to be chill. You don't need to really think about that much. You're just going around. Next thing, Mana Tempest, situational skill, mostly to just pop it on the boss, on the rare, to nuke it. Sometimes in one hit they will just die. And Archmage, of course, which is the core of this build. We have +1 to super lightning skills. I didn't really know what to put here because this build doesn't need that much spirit. We just need 100 for Archmage and that's it. And the one thing is that Flame Blast doesn't scale with Archmage, but that's not a problem. We are focused on the Frost Wall, which you can see here. We are doing even more lightning damage than frost damage at this point. And last but not least, about gems, there are, definitely you should invest in quality for Archmage because the gain from quality is insane. It's 2% per 100 mana. Show you, yes. Gain 2% of extra damage. And another thing, more of a quality of life, but can be useful, especially if you are going fast through a map. Get this quality, increased cooldown recovery rate for Frost Wall, which allows us to spam it even more. Now, let's go to items. Okay, so the core of this build are two items. Basically, it's Blue Flame Bracers to convert 100% of our fire damage to cold damage, and Ghost Rive Tattered Rope to give ourselves way more energy shield and way less HP to need less life regen to sustain our demon form. And after that, you just want to stack mana, maximum mana, and cast speed, because for this build you need to get as much cast speed as possible. You need to be a Usain Bolt of casting. And I have some maximum life rolls, which can be nice. It always converts to energy shield, so you are getting more energy shield, and it will never be hard to cap the life regen to sustain demon form anyway. Yep, that's it from items. And let's now go. Ah, of course you need to cap your resistances. I don't have the chaos cap. I didn't have an issue with that yet. Maybe will later on. I'm currently doing tier 15 maps with this, and that's not a problem with those resistances at the moment. And now for the passive tree. Alright. The main points of this passive tree are obviously cast speed. We want cast speeds. Everywhere is cast speed. Here we have cast speed, here we have cast speed, here we have cast speed. And this is especially good because we have extra 7% chaos resistance, and that's the hardest resistance to come by. We are taking obviously also the second main point is mana regen. So we are taking all the mana regen nodes here since we are close. This will give us extra life regeneration to make it even easier to cap the regen. We are taking all the mana nodes here since we are going Archmage, so we want especially this. We are stacking mana anyway, so why not take it? Oh, it doesn't show how much it gives me, but yeah. Why? Will it show now? No. Okay, rip. We are taking this for more mana, this for more mana, and this for extra mana regen, so we will need to be moving around a little bit, which is not a problem for me. That's what I do most of the time anyway. Even when I'm in this, I'll move around a little bit just to keep the mana regen up. We are taking some of the resist penetrations here for lightning, and we are taking for the freeze burst. We have this to give ourselves a hefty amount of more hit damage during the freeze time of the enemy, and this is also very important, so we can ignore all the resistances of the enemy when they are frozen. So basically, when the rare is frozen, you go all out on it to take advantage of this elemental resist penetration. Other than that, you're just stacking mana, energy shield wherever possible. Here, I also took here, which actually helps. It starts your energy regen a lot faster, especially after you take this, which it slows it down. Uh, what also was nice quality of life kind of was this, because this extra stun threshold from this gives us enough to tank quite a few hits before they stop our casts. And here I started going towards getting this jewel socket, and I will either go here to take those nodes for extra mana regen, because we are casting so many frost walls, we are bound to crit anyway with the 11% chance. There's so many of them that every time one of them will pop, or at least every second cast of them, because there's like a free frost walls, 20 icicles each. Or alternatively, you can go towards here to get some mana regen and extra defensive, but I don't think it's needed. As for Ascendancy, we are obviously capping maximum Demon Flame to 10, so those 4 points are reserved. And then we are taking this. I think this is better than the Doggo, because the Doggo, even if you stack him with all the support gems for tankiness, he will still run in and die pretty easily, because we are not stacking minion HP. So we're going here, and later on you can go here and take this to get even more mana. I don't really think this is worth it, because the amount of damage that you take, it's too much, and without those nodes it's even more useless, and for that you would be sacrificing a lot of survivability from this, plus you would be getting extra damage from this, so it's overall a very bad trade in my opinion.